Welcome back to the adventures of Mac and Anthea and section 3 of the Great Southern Spain Railway. Now you may recall in the previous video, section 2, that we finished just opposite this point. I'm going to try and turn you around a bit so you can see it. Put you an arrow on later. Yeah, just opposite there, and that was the end of the Wild Lost section, which we walked. On this occasion we're going to be doing this on a bicycle, thank God, because as much as I enjoyed the walk and it was quite an achievement for me, I'm much more of a biker person than a hiker person. Now, as mentioned in the previous video, if you travel up this sort of road behind me here, this will take you up to a supermarket and a hostel. And this is a good point to top up on supplies, because it's another 20 kilometres really until we get to another major supermarket where you can top up supplies for the route. So if you fancy a stop overnight, there's a good hostel up there with bar and restaurant there. There's also sort of an English cafe type place. And there's a sort of a mini market, but a good sized market that's basically got everything you could ever need in it. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to get on with the ride. I'm going to bring you in and out as and when there's points of interest, and I'll talk you through it as we go. And we're off. This is section 3, or our section 3. It's a converted section which has been converted to Via Verde, and it goes from Arbeláez to Finés. So the first section of this, we sort of leave sort of a populated or semi-populated area on the edge of Arbeláez. Arbeláez is a nice sort of large village stroke small town. The population is sort of evenly divided between expats and Spanish, so it's an expat sort of enclave there. Not my sort of thing, but it's still very nice, and a lot of people do enjoy that. So we're about to come up to really the first point of interest here. It's an old building, probably a railway building here. It's got the Arbeláez sign on, but as I understand it, it isn't the station. The station is no longer with us. It is a deceased station, and short-sightedness has led to it obviously being demolished at some point. No longer here, but they have sort of semi-made up for it by renovating this bit here. So we're going to stop here, have a quick look around. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite a nice little area here. Just pan you back round here to the old building here, which they've renovated, but it's currently fenced off. No idea what it's going to be or whether they're just renovating it. Really no idea. I'm going to take you over the original railway track to the sign. I think there's actually some old pictures of what the station looked like. To be honest, it has been knocked down, but they're pretty much carbon copies of each other, all the stations along this route. So really, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. But there it is, there's the station there. Looks like part of the old bridge has been washed away in some storm again there at some point. And then a few other pictures, old steam train, modern points. Actually, for once, strangely enough, the sign is on the right side of the railway. I haven't really mentioned it much to you before, but I have mentioned, sort of hinted it can be confusing. The signs always seem to be on the wrong side of the route, which means that the direction you're going isn't the direction that the map's pointing in. But on this occasion it is, so that makes a pleasant change. Okay, so we're going to carry on. A bit more of a populated area down there, but we'll soon be out of that into open countryside. Okay, so we start to come out of the populated area. We've got this sort of funny sort of bike around the roundabout here. And then we're going to be going out into open countryside soon. Right. Yeah. As you see, we're starting to leave all the houses here now. Most of these houses out here were illegal builds. I'll say illegal builds because it's a bit of a bone of contention out here. Most of them actually have permission from the local councils, the ayuntamientos, to be built, but unfortunately they weren't approved at a provincial government level by the junta. And afterwards, the junta didn't want to take responsibility of the actions of their employees, and so you've got the ridiculous situation where people who own houses are having to pay to have them put right, are made semi-legal because of the corruption within the junta's employees, which really isn't on. But hey ho, that's how it is, so that's what people have got to work with. Okay, so that's the last few houses there on our left, and we're just carrying on into the countryside. Okay, so over on your right over there is the motorway. That's quite a new section of motorway, A334, and we're starting to branch away from that now, and we'll start putting a hill between us and that, and going a bit further inland. Okay, so we're heading right out into the countryside now. It's beautiful scenery all round. This is actually the second attempt at doing the third section of the Great Southern Spain Railway route. Every route so far has fought us. The first, second and the third have all been second attempts. I mean, on the face of it, you'd think, what could go wrong? You know, you turn up with your bicycles, get in your bikes and you film. Well, it turns out quite a lot could go wrong, and it does. So, second attempt, hopefully this isn't going to need a third attempt to get this route done and dusted. So we're starting to come up to the large village of Almanthora, just over there. You can see that in the distance. Say sort of large village, you couldn't really call it a small town. And there's quite a decent bridge, I think, there, which we should probably do some filming of. So today we've picked quite a nice day again for it. We've been keeping an eye on the weather. Still a bit of humidity, still a bit of kalima floating about. And tomorrow's going to be really grey and probably with some bits of rain, so even though the rain will be welcome, it's not particularly a great day for filming a bicycle ride. So today's going to be a high of about 23 degrees. There's very little breeze in the bottom of this valley here, which is fairly common. One of the reasons we like living, away up the valley side in our village, which is probably about 300 metres higher than this. We always seem to have a constant breeze, which is certainly very welcome in the summer months.
And so we arrived at the large bridge over the Rambler on the edge of Almanthora.
So we left the trail just for a minute. Section of road obviously was originally railway, but now it's just been converted for road use. But we travel along this for a really short distance, and then we'll be back on the trail. And the building you can just see up there, I think, on the left, is actually the railway station, or the old railway station of Almanthora. I think we're going to ride down the centre here. I think we're okay too. There on the left, railway station. Woman wandering around with her head up her arse, looking where she's going. Okay, then just beyond that you come to a lovely little park area, which I think we're just going to stop and have a quick break and a drink. See now it's gone back to be a birthday trail here on our right. So quick break here and then we'll continue along back out into the countryside again. Any shade? No. Okay, this will have to do. Okay, so quick break at this park here, quick can of pop, and we're on our way again. Okay, so we've left the outskirts of Almanthora. Our next stop's going to be again a sort of large village, small town of Cantoria. This is a particularly nice stretch, this. As you can see, it follows the edge of the Rambler quite high, and we look down on the Rambler from an elevated position. So a really nice section of the route down here, and I think there's another little stop off a bit further down here in a bit as well. The west area just gone by on the left there, but we've just had a stop in the park, so we're not going to stop there. Cave in the rock face. And how deep that goes. Nice bit of welcome shade. Still very little breeze down here. How that's been cut into the straight through the rock. Good God. They must have blown that apart with some dynamite. Another little rest area here. Just going to quickly stop here because there's a nice bridge on a branch rail route which I just want to show you. So as you can see, this is the main route to the main railway down here, but you'll see in a minute, I'll point it out when you get there. There's that bridge across there. Now there was the main route going through here, but there was lots of branch rails that went off and went normally going into quarrying areas. Now I know if you follow that bridge there, there's sort of a road that goes up to here, and you can just about see it up on the bend there. That goes around to a major quarrying area. Now a lot of these branch lines aren't particularly well documented. You know, you can't find much information on it, or certainly not easily online. But I suspect that went up to mining prospects up there and joined back on here down at this bottom end further on, which I shall show you later. Yeah, so you can now see that bridge there over on the left, which I presume is the branch line. See above there some of the old water channel, ancient water channel there. They had real problems with water when it's in the steam age, especially with quality of water, with a lot of lime scale and iron in the water. It really buggered up the boilers on the steam engines. I say, so we're coming up to this junction. We're on the edge of Cantoria. Considerably quicker this way actually by bicycle than it is by car by the roadway, but I suppose that shouldn't really surprise us because railway routes tend to take the more direct route. So yeah, we're up on Cantoria pretty quick. Now again, Cantoria, sort of large village, small town, very pretty, very nice village here, and we're just going to skim along the side of it in a minute. Okay, so we just stopped here momentarily to talk about this junction here. What leads me to think this is an actual junction or side branch in the railway is you can actually see there's quite a major building here, which probably was manned here ready for the points or whatever they need to do, and probably a few sidings here as well. So you can see you've got the main track going back the way we've just come. If we pan around here, you see it goes straight across here. And like I say, I suspect this road here had a set of points, and you could go off and down to the bridge there in the distance you can see there and off to the quarries. Incidentally, if you go up this way, probably about 300-400 metres, there is an elevated viewpoint. You can got some nice steps up there, an actual scaffold right up on the top of a elevated point where you can see all views of all the valley all the way round, and you look down on the Beer Birdier and the bridge. We're going to go under the tunnel in a bit, which goes under this point, and I'll point it out to you then. Okay, so I think it's back on the bikes. Quick way for YouTube, you know you want to. So we're rounding the corner here, and yet another tunnel, quite a long one, and I think it's got automatic lights in this one. And you can probably see just above it there is the viewpoint. Now unfortunately you can't get to it from down here, so you will have to do a little detour. Whether you think that's worth the time or not, it'll probably depend on how tired you are at the time. But today we're just going to go through the tunnel. I've took some previous drone footage of this, which I should put in the video. Now, if I remember rightly, the lights should come on in here as we go through. Yep. Very good. And we're out. See, we're coming up to Cantoria here. On the left, you've got some major churches here. I mean, the church on the left, not the white one, but the sort of sandy coloured one, is enormous. Beautiful little town, this. And here we are approaching the, what's basically the centre of Cantoria. Very well converted, well maintained here, this little section going through here. I'm going to see quite a few of the buildings here still, railway buildings. I'm just going to go around to the right here because I think the station is round on this bit. Yeah, a few new buildings in old style. And you can see the old station up here on the left. Okay, this is a great place for a break here. Bar on the right there, just off the Beer Birthday. And up here I'm just going to show you a route into the centre. Now if you're going along here, you look out for this sort of monument here on the left. So you want to take the right here. The right down this road. Now if you continue on up this road, there's the big church we just seen from the distance on one side. On the other side there's what looks like a Spanish bar, but actually it's a Chinese restaurant and probably some of the best Chinese food I've ever tasted. So that's up there, and next to there there's also 2 cash points and probably about 2 or 3 really good bars there as well. So if you want to break, you can travel up this road more or less to where you can see that car is in the distance now. That'll take you to all those bits and pieces in the centre. Okay, I'm just going to swing round again and get back en route, and we'll carry on down. Okay, so we've come to the end of that sort of the ornamental sort of promenade bit. Bit of a junction here. You just follow it round. Some signs so you just don't get off track there. If you want to, you can go down into the Rambler where you can see those trees down below there. There's actually a rest area with benches in the shade and everything. So quite nice down there. But today we're just going to carry along the edge here. We're not on the road for long. In a minute as we come to the end of this section there'll be a little turn in. Unfortunately not that well thought out. They haven't dropped the curb, so we've got a bit of a pull the bike up the curb, but other than that it's cool. Okay, we've got for a little junction thing here, and you just need to be sort of looking, not joining the main road and looking for this little turning area, as you can see on the left. As you see, unfortunately, as I said, they haven't dropped the curb, so we have to try and climb up the curb here a bit. Looking over to the other side, so you see more or less where that truck's just gone over there. There's a little mini market over there as well, which is good for basic supplies if you need them. Okay, quick lift of the bike and we'll be on our way again. This section has recently been renovated, so it's quite a nice section again. How's your bum doing? Oh dear. She's nicked my seat and I've had to buy a new one, but it's still not right. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the sort of path section here, and it'll be now a shared car and bicycle just for a little bit here. Be super careful because I can guarantee you they don't be looking or thinking what they're doing when they use it with a car. This is just going under what is a fairly new bypass. When I first came to Spain, this bypass wasn't here, and when you consider that lorries travel from the quarries the other side of Cantoria to this side, that's go through the centre, and those streets are really narrow. Yeah, it's not fun even for the residents or the lorries, but the new bypass is great. It's cured that problem. Okay, so that puts Cantoria behind us, and the next stop is Finesse, I believe. So our final destination, although we will be going actually through Finesse and stopping at Finesse station, which is actually the other side of the village. Nice little area down there again for a break, all amongst the eucalyptus trees. You can probably even manage your well camping there if you've arrived late. Spectacular views. So we're coming up to a section here which I suspect is probably a bit of a workaround section where the original rail route's been disturbed. We're opposite the factory of Concertino, which is probably the largest employer in the area. Well, possibly the largest employer except for the Hunter. Says it all really, doesn't it? Yeah, so we're going to go around this little workaround here, and we'll soon be back onto the original route again. As you can see, way too windy to be a railway line. Okay, and then from this point we're obviously back on the original route because, as you can see, there's the old bridge there. Sewage treatments on the side there, so you probably won't want to fill your water bottles from that little stream we just went through around the corner. Okay, and we're just starting to hit the outskirts of Finesse. Nice little ride down there through the palm trees. Quite a nice little place, Finesse, but it's not quite as nice as Cantoria. You have to go around, Anthea. Okay, so we've come to the end of the gravel section. We can go on the centre section, but the pedestrians seem to think they should have it to themselves, so we've got a road here, so to keep the peace off it, we'll just take the road. Old railway building up here on our right, but not the station. That's right at the other side. Okay, so we've just come from that direction, which is the Cantoria direction. As you can see, as far as the eye can see, it's track. It's a long drag down here, leading up to Finesse and through Finesse, and even out the other side. Just pan round. We're going to go out that way in a minute. But the reason I've stopped at this actual point is, if you look here, if you look out for that sort of setback off the road, block building there. If you take this road next to it on the right, that takes you to the main sort of street leading down the centre of Finesse. And down that road, there's a couple of banks with cash points there opposite each other. if you take a left next to the Cahamar Bank and take that road up the side there, there's a pharmacy up there. Now there's also several bars down there, but to be honest I can't really recommend them to you because I've been to not all the bars but many of them, and every time without exception I've been overcharged. So I don't recommend going to a bar in the centre there if I was you, but it's completely up to you. Okay, so we're going to get back on our bikes and just do the last little stretch to the station, which is shared with Alula del Rio and Finez. So we're coming to the end of Finez, last few buildings here before we carry on to Alula del Rio. Just want to mention also, if you're here on a Sunday, the main street is completely filled with a huge market, probably one of the biggest one around here for miles. So if you like markets and like shopping, you probably might want to go and have a look at that whilst you're here if you turn up here on a Sunday. If like me you hate that sort of thing, you probably want to avoid it like the plague. Lovely little bridge here, over a bridge and then under a bridge. And here we are coming to the end of section 3 of the Great Southern Spain Railway. Unfortunately, a pretty uninspiring end here. Old derelict station house, which actually hasn't been converted, although they have done a nice little bridge up there ahead. So as you can see, apart from being derelict, there's still quite a few features left of the old railway, you know, a few bits of machinery, a building, got the station there, the old water tower up there, going back to the steam age of it, and then quite a nice bridge up ahead there as well. Also, I'd like to say this is the last and best point to get stocked up if you're doing the entire route. The next place you can sort of get probably stocked up with a supermarket is sort of 50-60 kilometres away. Even though there may be the odd little shop on the way, this is really where, if you stop nowhere else, you really want to stop here and stock up in the supermarket. I'll go into more detail about that in the next section, because we'll be going by that at the start of the next section. So I should point out the Mercadona and the CCA, which is a supermarket opposite. Also like to say, there's a little road here, down here on the right. If you take this off down here, that across there's a bar and restaurant, and that is an excellent bar and restaurant. They're really good food, you know, not excessively priced, so worth the stop and a break there, certainly rather than Finez, where you're likely to get ripped off. So, thank you for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.